Jinwoo then moved to attack the Beast Monarch to save Baru. Seeing this, the Beast Monarch dodged and released Baru. Jinwoo thought to himself, "Thank goodness I managed to save Baru in time." Meanwhile, the Ice Monarch was now getting serious. And boom! A massive ice explosion occurred, freezing Igris and Tank. "Hey, human, it seems you are very confident in your extraordinary power. Even if you use your trash shadow soldiers, I will trap your soldiers within my authority and make them experience endless regeneration. That way, your shadow soldiers will become parasites that drain your mana completely." The Ice Monarch then brought out a hidden weapon and immediately attacked Jinwoo. Hearing this, Jinwoo blocked the attack with his dagger. But unfortunately, Jinwoo received a wound on his shoulder. The Ice Monarch then swung his weapon, slamming Jinwoo to the ground very hard. But shockingly, Jinwoo suddenly disappeared from his sight and was already beside him. Jinwoo immediately thrust his dagger. However, the Ice Monarch still managed to dodge it and launched a counterattack with his weapon, sending Jinwoo flying back. The Ice Monarch stared at Jinwoo and said, "I will end this quickly." Immediately after, the Ice Monarch shot towards Jinwoo and unleashed attack after attack. Meanwhile, Jinwoo was now being cornered and continuously blocked every attack launched by the Ice Monarch. He thought to himself, his movements, gaze, breathing, muscles, mana flow, I can see it all. If only I could be a little faster than him. And at that moment, the Ice Monarch suddenly brought out another weapon, shaped like a scythe. The swings of his two weapons even produced ice attacks that shot towards Jinwoo. But insanely, Jinwoo's movements became faster, and he was already behind the Ice Monarch. Strangely, however, the Ice Monarch just started to smile and said, "Got you!" And instantly, Jinwoo felt something piercing his body, and it turned out the Beast Monarch's claw had pierced Sung Jinwoo's heart. Blood immediately spilled from his mouth. Of course, the hunters were astonished to see that situation. It was because Jinwoo had suffered a fatal attack, causing blood to spill from his mouth. The Ice Monarch then walked closer and stabbed Jinwoo with his dagger right in his heart. "Feel your own weapon. Can you not heal yourself like before? No matter how strong you are still not a perfect monarch. You will end here, human. Unfortunately, you will not be able to see the moment our army arrives on Earth to slaughter all humans. Their blood will flow into a river, but your country will not share the same fate because your country will forever be frozen in my ice prison." Everyone watching the broadcast of this battle began to lose hope. Mrs. Jinsu was seen, completely unable to believe what she was seeing. Jinam and her mother were also very sad and crying. Even Cha-in was utterly shocked by what had happened. Slowly, Jinwoo's body froze and his consciousness began to fade. Finally, the system identified that the player had died. However, suddenly a mysterious message appeared from the system. Player possesses Black Heart. Passive skill activation conditions have been met. Passive skill activated, and instantly a bright light appeared there. After the bright light disappeared, someone suddenly opened his eyes and it turned out to be Sung Jinwoo, who had awakened in the hospital. Jinwoo was currently confused why he was in the hospital. Wait, wasn't my heart just stabbed by the monarchs? But why? Why am I still alive? Was it all just a dream? Not long after, Woo Jincheol came to visit Jinwoo. Seeing him, Jinwoo was very surprised and said, "Chairman Woo Jincheol of the Hunter Association, what about the monsters that attacked the city? And how am I still alive?" However, Jincheol looked confused and did not understand what Jinwoo meant. He then said, "There are 3 things I need to tell you, Hunter Sung Jinwoo. First, I am not the chairman of the Hunter Association, but merely the head of the monitoring department. Second, I have some questions about the statues inside the double dungeon. And third, how do you know me when we have just met?" Hearing those words, Jinwoo was confused. They then conversed, discussing the situation inside the double dungeon. Jinwoo thought to himself, "This doesn't make sense. This hospital is very familiar to me. This is the hospital where I woke up after nearly dying in the double dungeon." Jinwoo then checked his system and saw his status, which was still the same as last time. "It's as if I've brought all my powers back to the past. All the contents of my inventory are still the same. I even still have the Kaisel's dagger. Only my shadow soldiers are gone." A moment later, Jinna came to visit her brother. "How are you feeling, Appa?" However, when Jinna saw her brother, she was surprised by Jinwoo's drastically changed appearance. I think something has changed about you, Appa. Jinwoo replied, It's probably just your imagination, Jinna. Jinwoo then stated that he needed to go to the Hunter Association as soon as possible. In his mind, Jinwoo said, It seems I have to gather my shadow soldiers again. But what baffles me is, how did this happen? Why have I returned to the past? Jinwoo then began to relive his past. To make a long story short, Jinwoo went to the Hunter Association office to have his rank reevaluated, and at that moment, the staff there found it hard to believe. I thought he was just a regular hunter, but it turns out he is the 10th S-rank hunter in Korea. Jinwoo said, All right, I will meet Chairman Gong Gun-hee. The staff there was surprised. Does he really know the chairman's room? As Jinwoo entered the elevator, he shared it with Hunter Kang Tae-shik. Jinwoo remembered who this hunter beside him really was. Jinwoo then said, Hey, you have a stealth skill, so why haven't you reported it? Of course, Tae-shik was instantly startled and reached for his knife. However, without him noticing, Jinwoo had already taken his knife. Jinwoo said, I know that someone asked you to avenge his daughter. I don't care about the criminals, but if you harm an innocent hunter, I will take your life. Hearing that, Tae-shik was immediately terrified and shivered. Just who are you? After that, Jinwoo entered the chairman's room. It's nice to meet you, Chairman. The chairman replied, You came to see me right after your reevaluation. I suppose you know the procedure. Is there something I can help you with? Jinwoo said, Chairman, can you change the regulations so that the creatures on Jeju Island can be counted in the raid count? If you can do that, then I will defeat the ants on Jeju Island. Hearing that, Chairman Gong Gun-hee was instantly angry and said, Don't talk nonsense. How many times do you think the raids on Jeju Island have ended in failure? Because Chairman Gong Gun-hee didn't believe him, Jinwoo then released his immense power aura. Jinwoo said, I am the only one who can handle those ants, so just trust me, Chairman. Seeing the radiance of Jinwoo's power, Chairman Gong Gun-hee was utterly astonished. That power radiance? His power is far above a national-level hunter. How is this possible? To make a long story short, Jinwoo repeated the cycle of his past. He then raided together with Hwang Dong-soo. Jinwoo also entered the Red Gate and faced the S-rank bear. Jinwoo also faced the High Orc army again. Jinwoo also saved his mother, who was in an eternal sleep. And finally, Jinwoo successfully completed the raid on Jeju Island and got Baru back. For a moment, Jinwoo was silent and said, Enough! This is enough! I know all of this is fake. Stop here and show yourself. How long are you going to watch from up there? And at that moment, the place where Jinwoo was suddenly turned into darkness. A mysterious figure then approached. Jinwoo said, I know you. You are the king of the dead. The figure of the Shadow Monarch appeared before Jinwoo. The Shadow Monarch said, If you desire a world like this, you can stay here forever, as if you will never wake from this beautiful dream. Jinwoo answered, What you mean I will be trapped forever inside this dream world you created? The Shadow Monarch said, It is not I who created this dream world, but you yourself. I know that you desperately wish to correct all the mistakes you have made, and that is why my power was able to manifest this dream world. This place is my domain. The Shadow Monarch then changed into people Jinwoo had once known. The Shadow Monarch said, This is the eternal resting place. I have been watching you longer than you can imagine. You are the person closest to death and the one who most resists death. I am the record of your efforts, the witness of your resistance, and the reward for your suffering. I am you. I have been waiting for this moment to meet you. I am the Shadow Monarch, the king of the dead who dominates death, the innermost dark king. Jinwoo asked, Why did you choose me? The Shadow Monarch replied, Very well, I will show you everything, from our beginning and your beginning. The scene then shifted to the real situation, where Sung Jinwoo had completely died and was frozen in the ice prison. The Beast Monarch said, This human is dead. Meanwhile, the hunters there were growing more panicked. Thomas asked Liu Zhigang, Why has the presence of hunter Sung Jinwoo disappeared? What really happened? Yun Hui, who realized the situation, said, This is absurd. Now there is no one who can stop those monsters. Meanwhile, from the top of a building, Taegyu said, Damn it! I shouldn't have listened to that person. Maybe we would still have a chance if we attack them now. Taegyu then gave AP rounds to his team, preparing to shoot. Everyone, open fire after my AP rounds. Our targets are both monsters over there. However, just as Taegyu targeted the Ice Monarch glared back with a terrifying gaze. Taegyu instantly shivered in fear. But at that very moment, something shocking happened. Jinwoo's body suddenly emitted an extremely fearsome, dark aura. The black heart inside Jinwoo had reacted. The Ice Monarch and Beast Monarch, realizing this, began to panic. Impossible! This cannot be allowed. The awakening of the true King of Death, the fake king, must be stopped. The two of them immediately rushed to stop the awakening of the Shadow Monarch. However, the monarch's attempt was stopped by a mysterious figure. The Beast Monarch's head was kicked, sending him crashing into the Ice Monarch. As a result, the two of them were sent flying and crashed into a building with tremendous force. A mysterious figure was seen standing guard over Sung Jinwoo while munching on two daggers in his hands. He said, "From now on, no one is allowed to touch him." And it turned out to be Sung Il-hwan, Sung Jinwoo's father. The scene then returned to Jinwoo's situation inside the Shadow Monarch's domain. The Shadow Monarch began to show what happened long ago, in an era where there was nothing but light and darkness. Jinwoo was then shown a figure sitting on his throne. He was the being called the Absolute Being, who created light and darkness. The Absolute Being divided the light into rulers and divided the darkness into monarchs. The monarch's goal is to destroy the world, while the ruler's goal is to protect the world. And because of that, the monarchs and rulers fought endlessly throughout time. Due to the prolonged and endless war, one of the rulers, the fragment of brilliant light, pleaded to the Absolute Being, "Absolute God, why do you not help your loyal servants who have been fighting for you? Can you not hear the ruler soldiers who have died for you? Absolute God, please bestow your power to defeat our enemies, the monarchs." However, the Absolute Being did not answer at all. In other words, the request was rejected. And at that moment, the rulers, the fragments of brilliant light, began to realize something. They felt that the battle between the rulers and the monarchs was merely entertainment for the Absolute Being. And that is why the Absolute Being refused to help the rulers in battle. All this time, the rulers had been obeying the rules set by the Absolute Being, but in reality, the number of rulers who died surpassed those who survived. Realizing this, those rulers became angry. They thought, as long as the Absolute Being exists, this war will never end. A group of rulers then moved to end this futile battle. They decided to rebel against the Absolute Being. The Shadow Monarch said to Jinwoo, "Look, that is my former self. I was the ruler who stood against the rebellion of the other rulers, but my forces were not large. In the end, I and all my forces were defeated by the combined rulers. I thought that was the end of me. However, after my death, I awoke in darkness, and I realized the Absolute Being had stored a secret power within my body. A black aura emerged from within me, and at that moment, the power that was dormant within me awoke. Rise. After I rose again, I could command the ruler soldiers who had died, and from that moment on, I led my new army to the battlefield. But when I returned to meet the Absolute Being, it was too late. The Absolute Being had been killed by the ruler army that had rebelled. Spears were seen impaling the body of the Absolute Being. After the Absolute Being was successfully killed, the rebellious rulers then planned to destroy the monarchs using a device that stored the Absolute Being's power. Thanks to that device, one monarch, Ligia, the giant monarch, was successfully captured and sealed. Thus, the balance between the monarchs and rulers began to crumble, and the situation for the monarchs became increasingly difficult. And at that time, I came to meet the monarchs. Of course, they had no other choice but to accept me to fight against the rulers. From that moment on, I was no longer part of the rulers, but one of the 9 monarchs continuing the battle. On those battlefields, I continuously turned the corpses of those who died in the war into my shadow soldiers. However, as time passed, 2 monarchs grew afraid of me and collaborated to kill me. The armies of the Beast Monarch and the White Flame Monarch nearly annihilated my soldiers. But in the end, I managed to kill the White Flame Monarch, while the Beast Monarch managed to escape by sacrificing his own army. And after that incident, the rebellious ruler army approached me. But they all suddenly bowed to me and said, "Please forgive all our actions, O great fragment of brilliant light. There is no reason for us to continue this battle." However, the Shadow Monarch was enraged and answered, "Ha! No reason, you say? Did you not kill my master?" The ruler replied, "When we rebelled to oppose him, don't you understand our feelings better than anyone? Our goal was only to end the war. This endless slaughter must stop. Just kill me and quell your anger, O great fragment of brilliant light." The rulers then held their chests as a sign of respect for the Shadow Monarch. After showing all of this to Jinwoo, the Shadow Monarch changed back into people Jinwoo had once known. He then said, "From that moment on, I felt confused. I didn't even know what to do or which side to take. I decided to hide for a while to get my revenge. After I recovered, I intended to deal with the Beast Monarch. But while I was gone, the monarchs began to lose their power. In the end, they were defeated by the rulers. And when I reappeared before the monarchs who had fled through a dimensional rift, the Destruction Monarch, who was recovering his strength, decided not to fight and accepted my arrival. We then searched for a new world to strengthen our armies and avoid the surveillance of the rulers. The Shadow Monarch then showed a scene of a city that had become a sea of fire. This was the sight Jinwoo had seen when he was in the Demon Castle. Jinwoo asked, "Is this a vision of Earth in the future?" The Shadow Monarch answered, "No. This is what happened in the past. If the monarch's goal is destruction, then the ruler's goal is to mend the world's cracks after the loss of the absolute being. And at one point, the rulers became filled with rage upon seeing the monarchs they had let escape destroy your world. To correct their mistake, they used a forbidden device that stored the absolute being's power, the god's artifact, the reincarnation grail. It was an artifact that could turn back time 10 years into the past. The rulers tried repeatedly to save the human world, but the earth was not strong enough to withstand the great war between the monarchs and the rulers. And to protect Earth, the rulers decided to provide a means for humans to survive on Earth. Thus hunters were born." Jinwoo asked, "So you mean the Earth has undergone destruction countless times?" The Shadow Monarch answered, "Exactly. While the rulers tried to fix their mistakes over and over, the monarchs also kept changing their plans until the god's artifact could no longer be used. Just as the rulers lent their power to humans to face monsters and strengthen this world, the monarchs also borrowed human bodies to descend to Earth. They tried to use the magic power the rulers had spread to this world to turn Earth into a giant trap. That way, they could slaughter the ruler armies coming to help the humans all at once. However, because my power and the Destruction Monarch's power were too great, we could not find suitable vessels to inhabit. But at that time, a great sorcerer serving the monarchs came to me with an offer. He tried to help me find a suitable human vessel for myself. Let's call that sorcerer the Architect. Using the system he created, the Architect continuously searched for a human capable of containing my power. Then suddenly he found a human who was compatible with his system. And that was you, a weak person always close to death, yet always escaping death itself. I was always watching you, and even though the Architect opposed my decision, I still chose you. Let me say it once more, I am the record of your efforts and the reward for your suffering." Jinwoo asked, "But why? Why did you betray the Architect?" The Shadow Monarch answered, "I was faced with the ruler's apologies and the monarch's betrayal. I didn't know which side to stand on. There was no place for me. But now I have made a decision. The time I spent with you was truly great. Perhaps I did not want to lose you. I will become you, and you will become me. It doesn't matter who owns this body, because we have become one. Therefore, I will give you a choice. You can choose to rest within my domain and enjoy the eternal dream you created yourself, or you can return to the real world and face your enemies." Jinwoo answered, "My answer remains the same. I do not belong here. Is this the last time I will see you?" The Shadow Monarch smiled and said, "Very well. I will return to my rest. However, you will become the Shadow Monarch and live an eternal life. Because of that, the paths for us to meet will be rare. By obtaining death, my power has become yours because I am you. Rise." A system message appeared. Player is activating the system deletion code. The system will be deleted. All power restrictions on the player will be removed. Due to the removal of power restrictions, all martial-grade Shadow Soldiers have regained their original power. The power of the martial-grade Shadow Soldier Igris has been restored. All stats of the martial-grade Shadow Soldier Baru have increased drastically, The Shadow Monarch Ashborn returns to the void. Are you sure you want to delete the system? Yes or no? Yes. A bright light then emerged. The scene then returned to the real world, where Jinwoo's father was fighting the monarchs to protect Jinwoo. The Ice Monarch shouted, "Hey, ruler! What terrible evil are you trying to raise from the body you're protecting? Do you intend to plunge this place into ruin? Are you willing to sacrifice your life to help the awakening of the Shadow Monarch? What are you thinking, you damn ruler?" The Beast Monarch said, "There's no time left. Let's finish this quickly." The Beast Monarch and Ice Monarch then shot forward to attack. As the Ice Monarch attacked with his spear, Jinwoo's father nimbly dodged it while counterattacking the Ice Monarch. Jinwoo's father even used the Ice Monarch's own spear to block the Beast Monarch's claws. They thought to themselves, "Damn it! He's reading my movements with his eyes. His movements are like a warrior who has been through many battles. This bastard is dodging and using the Ice Monarch's spear attacks to block my claws." Just as the Ice Monarch was about to spew ice from behind, Jinwoo's father kicked the Ice Monarch's chin, sending him crashing into a building. Meanwhile, the Beast Monarch tried to bite Jinwoo's father's head off with his fangs. In response, Jinwoo's father stabbed his dagger into the Beast Monarch's mouth. As a result, the Beast Monarch howled in pain. A hard punch was then launched, pushing the Beast Monarch back slightly. The Beast Monarch pulled the dagger stuck in his mouth out and said, "You damn bastard, I'll kill you." But suddenly, the Beast Monarch felt a terrifying aura from Sung Jinwoo. This sensation, it was so terrifying that the Beast Monarch, frightened, jumped away. On the other side, the Ice Monarch started to emerge from the rubble and said, "I won't let you do as you please. Let's attack him together again." However, the Beast Monarch answered, "No, that's enough. Let's stop here." "Huh? Have you lost your mind, Beast Monarch?" said the Ice Monarch. The Beast Monarch replied, "Can't you feel it? The mana around that human is beginning to tremble. Soon the Shadow Monarch will awaken. I'm leaving." He then opened a dimensional portal. The Ice Monarch was annoyed and said, "Are you scared? I never thought the mighty Beast Monarch would run away from an enemy out of fear." The Beast Monarch answered, "Ice Monarch, you wouldn't understand me because you've never fought the Shadow Monarch directly. Good luck." The Beast Monarch then fled by entering the dimensional portal. At this moment, the Ice Monarch was very angry and released his true power. "Experience the horror of my killing ice." And at that moment, a terrifying storm was created, with spears of ice raining down on Jinwoo's father. In response, Jinwoo's father continuously deflected the spears coming towards him while protecting Jinwoo. The Ice Monarch was furious and said, "How dare a lowly human like you attack without understanding the situation? Freeze forever in an eternal ice prison alongside the Shadow Monarch." The Ice Monarch now created a giant block of ice in the air and launched it towards Jinwoo's father. Seeing this, Jinwoo's father panicked slightly. "Damn! He intends to crush this entire place." Jinwoo's father was caught off guard. One ice spear now hit his arm. He was confused about what to do to stop the Ice Monarch's attack. However, in a surprising turn of events, Baru had now revived and immediately flew to destroy the giant ice block. As a result, the giant ice block was successfully destroyed with a single attack. Meanwhile, on another side, Igris had also revived and regained his original power. He now stood protecting Jinwoo's father and said, "Ice Monarch, don't call yourself a monarch with just power like this." Seeing his attack being intercepted by a shadow soldier, the Ice Monarch was utterly astonished. "This is impossible. He destroyed my magic attack. How is it possible? Could it be that Shadow Soldier has regained his original power? Does that mean the Shadow Monarch has awakened?" The Ice Monarch grew increasingly panicked, and sure enough, Sung Jinwoo, with the great power within him, had now broken free from the ice prison that bound him. Jinwoo said, "It's true. Prophecies are unreliable." And now Igris and Beru were kneeling behind their king. From a distance, the Ice Monarch began to sweat coldly. Jinwoo said, "You're over there. Where did the Beast Monarch go? Did he run away? Who said you could leave so easily?" said Jinwoo intimidatingly. Because the aura emitted by Jinwoo was so terrifying, the Ice Monarch was made to shiver in fear. "What stands before me feels like an insurmountable wall. The gap between us is too great. Our power is like heaven and earth." Learning that the Beast Monarch had fled, Jinwoo then searched for the Beast Monarch's whereabouts. Jinwoo now emitted a black aura that enveloped the entire Earth. And at that moment, Jinwoo realized something. Found you. I've finally found you, Beast Monarch. Meanwhile, on another front, the Frost Monarch watched Jinwoo, who was just standing still there. He felt this was his only chance to finish off the Shadow Monarch.